How did it go?
Yesterday was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It was a lot. Great journey, amazing party. But definitely had some challenges just going through some personal things I had to deal with. But overall, it was an amazing experience.
Okay. So, yesterday,
Yeah,
we
yesterday.
did first ceremony.
Round one.
Round one. How was it?
Agony
Yeah.
for pretty much the whole ceremony. Not the first drink was fine for a while, and purge, and you get used to that. But then that was
Cool, we get you next
could
to us.
felt anxiety leaving my body. Mother Ayahuasca told me to take the second one, and I did, and I purged right away. So I had to go take a third one, and kept that one down. And then I laid down, and for however long till it wore off, I couldn't move, and I was being exercised, as in an exorcism, internal surgeries, another word for it. And so it's not what I expected.
Was it scary? Because when you say exercise, people might freak
No, it was
out.
painful.
Painful.
It was
okay.
painful.
What
And
about after?
I was mad. I was disappointed. I was sick.
Where'd you get that from?
And those pretty much, disappointment was the biggest one.
Was it better than you expected?
Yeah, for sure. There was nothing really I can expect or put my finger on it or done anything like that in my past. But it's eye-opening to say the least.
And what are your expectations going into this second ceremony?
I think I got through a lot in the first, so I think this will be a little more harmonious,
Yeah.
filled with love and kind of more towards my heart than I think it was a lot more in my head last night.
I was probably in my head a little too much during it, and so I'll work on that tonight.
Why was you disappointed?
I was expecting at least one unicorn.
Mine wasn't that bad. Like, people were puking and all this stuff, and I cried. I did a lot of crying purging, but it wasn't that bad. I was actually wanting to puke more to release, and I think my ego was just blocking me. It was a really stubborn bear. And
Weirdest thing I experienced was probably talking to one of my best friends that died, hanging out with him. That was pretty bizarre.
It wasn't over. Not yet. The next thing that happened was that my arm started to twitch, alongside with many other areas of my body. I was kind of like this. But, I didn't freak out. There was no need to freak out. I just chalked it up to energetical surges within my system. Yeah, makes sense. And then I found myself living out my life in what felt like a memory, but appeared as a vision, first-person vision. And during this vision, I had full access to my mind in this memory of sorts. I was an older lady, I had grandkids, and I was in my kitchen, and I had lived a pretty happy life up until that point. And then my mind kind of just faded out from that visionary experience into darkness. I was lucid, didn't feel unconscious, and I wasn't yet willing to accept the fact that I just experienced something that a lot of people were expecting to experience whilst on the plant medicine. That wasn't until I experienced the death of my son for the first time. It was over a bridge. We had driven and the guy had run us off the road, and we ended up forking off the road and over a bridge. We balanced for a bit on the edge of the bridge, and the door had swung open. The seatbelt was supposed to keep him safe, and in a sense it kind of did, as it was the only thing that he was able to hold on to whilst he was dangling outside of the car. There was a moment seeing him there, really hopeless, where I just knew that he was going to die. And to protect myself from feeling what I knew what was going to come next, I decided to detach myself emotionally in that moment while staring at his blue eyes. I felt like I was crying, but I didn't feel anything. It's really weird that it was like I was expecting my face to well up, but it wasn't. I just had a stone cold expression, whilst feeling the dwindling remnants of some kind of emotion that I'm sure would have led to tears. And before it had completely snuffed out, I felt it come out in me. And as it came out in me, I was no longer in the passenger seat watching my son. I was actually in my bed, feeling his suppressed emotions in my physical body. And then my third eye opened up, and I managed to see what looked like an astral form of my past lives' body right in front of me. Okay? Not just that body, but then another body of another version of me that I had, lived at one point in my life, or my many lives, and then another body in front of him. So it was this effect where there was 3 or 4 bodies in front of me, all astral forms of my previous past selves, all stacked up in front of me. And then as I'm looking down with my third eye, I'm noticing the fact that there are these long, kind of like tweezer-shaped instruments, surgical instruments, that have pierced my back and gone through my body, and they were pulling out that suppressed trauma within my past self. Now, how they got to my back in the first place was quite interesting, to say the least. Remember my twitching arm? Well, it now did things by itself. It grabbed my shoulder and turned me onto my right side, exposing my back. And that is when I felt the surgical instruments pierce straight through me and then into my past self's astral form. As soon as that blockage came into contact with my physical form, I instantly got up and threw up into the bucket. How I got there, I have no idea. But somehow I had made it on all fours. I was throwing up in this bucket all of that trauma that I had suppressed within my past life, and then some within the other lives that I had seen. When I was throwing up, I made a astonishing revelation about energy and how it behaves within the body. And when we, more specifically, contract these energetical blockages within this lifetime, as I threw up, my mind was shattered into pieces. Remnants of how I used to behave came to the surface, and I literally shifted like a bipolar schizophrenic. I became my 5-year-old self when I was crying, and no one was there. There were moments within my life, during a period of my life, where I was throwing up. And any kind of traumatic experience that I'd experienced around those moments where I'd throw up would imbue itself energetically into my physical anatomy. So when you're throwing up on plant medicine, you're not just throwing up because of whatever you've encountered throughout a visionary experience, in my case a past life, but you're also throwing up all of the traumas that have been kind of stuck to you whilst you are throwing up throughout your lifetime here. Yeah, so this is why it's so mind trippy. It f***s you up mentally, it does. Because after you come off of After you come off of plant medicine, you're not the same. You're going to become fractured psychologically. You're going to become all these other aspects of yourself. Because as the plant medicine heals you, it has to bring out in you personality traits that you stuff down, that have stuff sticking to them. All these little problems, insecurities, traumas, and so forth, that needs to come up in order to be cleared away. And the thing is with plant medicine is it doesn't put all this stuff back down at all. And that's what it did to me. It literally came into my house, pretty much moved my furniture around, cleaned up all of the spots that I had missed, and then just left the place in another state of chaos. I had a way of reintegrating myself back together. I'll talk about that within these series of vlogs. But after throwing up and becoming bipolar schizophrenic in this bucket, I then slouched back down onto the bed. And then I started experiencing more past lives. One of which I was Arab. Was I Arab or was I Indian? I'm not too sure. All I know was I was in India. It's probably Indian. I was in India and I was put into an arranged marriage. It was quite common for us sisters back then. And there was me and 4 other sisters. I just referred to them as sisters because we were so close. There were actually other members of the community that were also forced into marriages. And, you know, it sucked. We couldn't do anything but clean and take care of our husbands. So the little time that we did have to escape from them, we basically spent in our gardens. We lived within a very close proximity from each other. And what we did to kind of cement this bond that we had, this moment that was the only moment we had where we could feel like we had some kind of control over our lives, we decided to buy bangles. These big bracelets that had attachments to them like knives, one here and one there. They weren't meant for force or anything like that, you know, but they just seemed very, very, very nice. Mine was gold. Hers was white, hers was red, hers was green. But then I faded out of that lifetime into another one where, again, I was Indian. And I had been so self-absorbed, so focused on dealing with myself, that I had outlived all of my family, all of my friends, all of my lovers. Because I had found ways of extending my lifespan. It upset me to the point where I stopped doing that which made me live so long so that I would die. I would then incarnate and then go through the entire cycle again. I would extend my lifespan, I'd outlive my family, my friends and my lovers, get upset, and then I'd die. And then I'd reincarnate and go through the cycle all over again. 4 to 5 times this had happened. Up until now. And then I started to experience another past life. I went back all the way to what felt like my first earthly incarnation. I was part of a tribe, Native American tribe, full-blooded. And I was just your average guy, really. You know, I mean, I was pretty respected there, but so was everyone else. We were all on equal footing, and none of us were seen as less than somebody else. Not even less than the village shaman. It was like we were all shamans in our own right. And it felt great. And then I came to, in my bed, near my bucket. Haven't thrown up for the second time, not yet. And I thought to myself, okay, what can I do differently this time around? Clearly, I'm not involved with anyone here. You know, my family, my friends, I haven't seen them in years in some cases, in most cases. I'm not really connected to the people I'm in relationships with here. And it's not like I'm trying to run away from that. It's just, it's not important to me. I found myself in this life even fasting. You've probably seen by now if you've been subscribed to me for a very long time. I fast. I'm very into health. I'm doing the same things that I've been doing in my past lives. Only in this lifetime, the only thing that's different is my relationship with death. I don't get upset anymore when people pass away. You know, not like I did before, at least. I'm okay with people passing on. And what made this change within this incarnation was the fact that I can astral project. I can leave my body at will. You know, so it wouldn't surprise me if I'd kind of slotted that into this incarnation on purpose to get over what was stopping me from getting over death, you know, in the last ones. Yeah, so I experienced a lot of past lives within my plant medicine experience. It was fun, but more happened on the first day. I will get back to you all in the next vlog, continuing this series of experiences within day 1. I'll speak to you pretty soon. Take care. Peace.
I didn't get anything. It was fractal and harsh, and no doubt healing from the beginning, but that's what it was. It was healing.
It's great.